Howdy friends and neighbors, old Doc here. For those that are new to the channel, yeah, we got another project. An old Melrose Bobcat 444. And Matthew and I went up last Friday up South Dakota and looked it over and bought it. And then our buddy John and his beautiful wife Stacia and we went up and picked it up last Saturday. I wish I could get this thing to not be zoomed in. I wish I could back it off a little bit. So yeah, we got a new project, and it's a project. It was very affordable and close to home, but it needs work. It does run, believe it or not. There's the seat. Naturally, it's not the original seat. Let's see, where should we start with the variable drive down there? You can see a little bit of, you see some wetness, oil, so I'm sure it probably needs seals in it, which you can still get. Let me get around here. The engine does run. We had it running. The kid we bought it from, he bought it at an estate sale, and I'm not sure what he's all done to it. He was a nice young man. Didn't really strike me as mechanically inclined. I think he bought it and found out it was going to be more than, you know, it was going to be beyond his capabilities. I don't know if he put that carburetor on there. It's, I'm sure, an aftermarket carburetor. The float is stuck on it, because he said he put that electric fuel pump right there and the regulator for the fuel pump on it, and it overflows the carburetor. So I thought, well, either it's still pumping too much pressure and blowing past the floating needle, but we found out that isn't the case, because we put on the auxiliary fuel tank there. And you know, if you follow my channel, you've seen that before. We've used it on different engines. Works good. So even gravity feed, it overflows the carburetor. So either the needle isn't seating or the float's stuck in the carburetor. So that's probably going to be project number one. And right along with the throttle isn't hooked up correctly, or it's not holding down what it's not doing. So that needs to be addressed. And the choke, where is the choke cable? Right here. Here's the choke cable. It has no way of being hooked up, so we got to address that along with the float issue. It does start and run. We've had it, Matthew and I, we had it started and running. So it does do that. It has trouble moving, and I'll tell you the reason. I believe it could be several things. The variable drive there I believe, being it's leaking, you can see it, you know, wetness, I've showed you that. I think the fluid is going by the O-rings inside there, and it's also leaking. So like I said, that's got to be addressed. Another reason, or possible reason, is you see that spring right there. For whatever reason, somebody took, and you can see right there, see the shiny? Somebody took a sawzall and cut that spring on that jack shaft. And why they did that, I've got no idea. Okay, so that needs to be addressed. Also, this lever here, so you can move the lever. You can move the lever, but it doesn't move the pin. For whatever reason, somebody welded that. So that's got to be, I got to take the side cover off. Let me get this shit kind of out of the way. I got to take this side plate off over here and pull one of the chains off inside. Pull the chain sprocket out, which is connected to that pin. Pull it out so I can get this lever out of there and address the issue. You can't see it on the phone, but it's not moving that that rod at all for your forward and backward. It does lift. You push on the pedals and the arms go right up and everything. I don't think any of the gauges work. So yeah, we're going to be making videos on this, I guess. I want to change the hydraulic filter on it. The engine filter is down there. Oh, this is a 2-cylinder Onan engine, and I know next to nothing about, right along with the rest of the Bobcat. I know very little about them. I've ran them, but as far as working on them, I've never really done any work. I don't think there's a grease zerk on this thing. Oh, there's one up here. There's one that's actually intact, if you can see it. A lot of them are broke off and what have you. So it needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of work. We haven't given up on the old Sears. Matter of fact, I want to get rid of a pallet and some stuff up in front of it. Get the Sears moved up out of the way so we can get the Bobcat in here. But for right now, I want the Bobcat outside. It's not hurting it because I don't think it's ever seen the inside of a building before, unless it was cleaning it out. It sure doesn't look like spending any time in it as far as storage. But I would eventually like to get the Bobcat in the lean-to here, and because she's hot, and it's going to be a hot week. I'm going to be on the road and off and on, so it's going to be a slow process. I've been busy. Last week I was up in I want to say Dresden, but that isn't it. That's where Dad hit the bridge back in the early 60s when I was just a little guy and with the semi, and not Dresden. Grafton, North Dakota. Like maybe 120 miles south of Winnipeg, I think it is. Yeah, I spent the night up there last Tuesday night and inhaled about a carton and a half of Canadian wildfires. And from there, I ran over to Carrington, North Dakota. From Carrington to Green Bay, from Green Bay down to De Pere, Wisconsin. From De Pere to Rochester, and Rochester, from De Pere to La Crosse, from La Crosse to Rochester, from Rochester back home. So that was a short week, but I'm swamped. And those that know me, you know, I've got back issues, and here the last month they've really been bad. And those that have been following my channel for a while know that Mom took a spill last spring and fractured a vertebrae in her back. She was just getting healed up. She was that close to getting her lawnmower keys back. And she took a spill here a couple of weeks ago again. Spent 3 days in the hospital because she refractured that vertebrae in her back and cracked her pelvis. So Mom is laid up. And I know some of you prayed for her, you know, back in the spring when she was down, and she'd really appreciate your thoughts and prayers this time, because she's not able to go out and tend to her garden, and it's really got her down. But her younger sister came over, and her brother-in-law Alan, and we got her up to the hospital, and they watched over there, and they've been really good about helping Mom out there at the house. And they got a pretty good drive. They come down and visit her and help her out, you know, with house chores, and because she's not able to do them. And also her friend, her longtime friend, Boots. Now Boots has been friends with Mom for, geez, I think since like the early 70s, and they're still very good friends. And Boots has also been down and helping her out a lot. And those of you that don't know, I've mentioned my oldest friend. We've been friends for 55 years. Boots is his mom. So Boots is her nickname. It's been her nickname. And I'm not going to mention her real name because I don't know if she'd like it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. But she goes by Boots and always has. So Boots and Mom's little sister Levon and Levon's husband Alan, they've been taking really good care of Mom. Penny's been over to help Mom. I've been helping her as much as I can, and so is Matthew. Matthew's been gone to Las Vegas for a week visiting his best friend. He'll be back tonight. And so yeah, keep Mom in your thoughts and prayers. I'd really appreciate it. And I guess you're going to have to suffer through this. It's going to be a learning experience for me. But like I said, it was close to home. It was affordable. Everything that I actually wanted was so far away and cost a hell of a lot more. If you guys don't know what these things go for on the market, it's bananas. I mean, it is seriously just crazy what they get for these. There's a guy up in South Dakota. He's got buckets I'm going to get a bucket from him, and I kind of wanted to go up this weekend, but I wasn't physically capable of driving up there. So, and the bucket, you know, that's the least of my issues. We got other things to take care of, right? So with that, friends and neighbors, you can look forward to more videos on this 444 Melrose Bobcat, and I believe they were made up in Gwinner, South Dakota, at the Bobcat factory there, which I've delivered parts there. And so yeah, but you know, and there's other things. We haven't given up on the Sears, not by a long shot. I mean, we're far from giving up. It's just you know, just mostly getting the time and physically being able to do some of these things. But with the help of Matthew and John and old Blue Eyes, Stacia, we're getting her done. It's just taking some time. So, yeah. With that, and also, there's farmers out here, not necessarily in our part of the country or state, which we are still in an extreme drought, but there's farmers out there that, and really good friends, they need rain desperately. So kind of keep them in your thoughts and prayers, and I greatly appreciate it. And like I said, welcome to the new subscribers. And this old dog, you know, we're going to learn on it together, and I'm sure it's going to bring in more subscribers. I didn't buy it to get subscribers. If you don't want to subscribe, that's fine. You know, I didn't start a channel for, you know, the notoriety or anything. I did it to show you the way I do things, and maybe it helps some of you guys out. So with that, friends and neighbors, you know how I always close them out. Be kind to one another. Be kind to yourself. Say please and thank you, and happy trails.